there, everybody. How are you? It's Marley with another episode of Every Day is a Train Wreck. And now it's the holidays, so I don't know about you, but it kind of seems that way, that every day is a train wreck right around this time. So I thought we'd focus on something fun. And not interviewing anybody today. I'm just giving you kind of some expert party planning tips and tricks married with something I have a lot of experience in, which is getting my friends together. So if you're like me, you've got the holidays. Okay, so we've got the basic Thanksgiving, Christmas, Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, which is kind of in its own category. But these are days that traditionally everybody gets together, right? Your family. So it's kind of the obligation holidays, let's just call it, where you got to do it. Okay. If you've got a spouse or you're in a relationship, if you're lucky, you're only going to have to go one place during the day. If you're not so lucky, you're going to have to travel probably to two places, maybe on the same day. And somebody in that picture is probably not going to be particularly happy, right? I guess there are the kumbaya, very happy people who love their in-laws, and everybody loves their in-laws and cousins and all that stuff. And it's amazing. But what I found is that somebody in that relationship is not necessarily too thrilled. So, but you got to do it. What are you going to do on Thanksgiving? The only way to get out of Thanksgiving or get out of Christmas or Christmas Eve or Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate, is really if you're sick or you're going to say that somebody in your family is sick. And it's very contagious. COVID is a good one, since that's kind of been going around, but you really have to not want to go, okay, to pull that. And then, oh, by the way, you've got to watch your Instagram feed for the whole rest of the however many next days, because you know everybody's going to be watching, and you can't just be quote, not at Christmas, and then all of a sudden the next day popping up at Boxing Day sale at, whatever favorite outlet mall. Okay. So you get what I'm saying. There are just certain things that we all feel kind of guilted in to do. Well, I'm going to give you what I think is the most amazing get out of jail free card you could possibly imagine. Okay. And it goes like this. I want to say I coined the phrase. I'm sure somebody is going to tell me that back in, whatever BC, this was not the case. But I want to say I coined the phrase DrinksGiving and Drinksmas. Now, this is part of a broader conversation of pretty much the best holiday you could ever imagine. So let's start with DrinksGiving. So you can probably create one yourself, or if you're a little late listening to the podcast, guess what? That's why you always want to listen to it the day that it comes out. But you can create a Drinksmas one. So the idea behind these holidays is that you've got the real one that everybody has to go to and you're obligated to, and maybe there's some minimal eye rolling. But then it's the season and you want to see your friends and you want to have a good time, and you kind of want to be able to see who you want to see without any of the rules, right? Like the rules of oh, I can't talk politics. I can't do this. I can't, mention that half my family is now on Ozempic, whatever it is. Okay. You just want the people you can let your hair down with. And those are typically your really good friends. And I have kind of a mosh pit of friends. I always have, from all different walks of life and all different parts of my life. And DrinksGiving and Drinksmas are 2 days when I get the whole band together. Okay. So first rule for DrinksGiving is you always have it the day before Thanksgiving. Okay. So it's always on a Wednesday. And why? Because what we found was, might be busy on Thanksgiving and couldn't get out of it, but it's really easy to get out of anything on Wednesday night, because you can just tell people, oh, you're cooking, you're getting ready, you've got to get up so early for the next day, whatever it is. So you can pretty much clear your day Wednesday. Wednesday is also a really good day, in my opinion, the day before Thanksgiving, for day drinking. Okay. I'm not going to say that you got to jump into that, but there is just something magical about realizing that it's kind of noonish and your emails are going to go down to almost nothing. And if they don't, you can kind of blame it on the fact that, oh my gosh, nothing was happening. So kind of got off early. And you have a bunch of your friends. To me, the more eclectic and sometimes last minute possible for Wednesday lunch. But the most important part of this conversation is how to have a proper DrinksGiving. And if you are not a good drinker or not a good like marathon person, then what you want to do is definitely do not drink during lunch, and you want to save it all up. So what happens is every Wednesday before Thanksgiving, our DrinksGiving is held like right around 5 o'clock. Now, my friend Elizabeth would laugh about that because she would say, we tell people 5 o'clock so that we go to the same restaurant. We always go to the Royal Chop House. That's like our watering hole. It's like my second living room. And we save seats at the bar, right? Because technically at 5 o'clock, like anybody who's at the bar of like a really nice restaurant, right, is probably not there to like camp out. They might be there to have a drink and then they're going to head home, or they're going to have a drink and then they're going to go to a table. So we're supposed to all get there at like 5 o'clock and save seats. Elizabeth is really the best one. She's the one that goes and gets all the seats saved. And it's not pretty because then she's like, you guys, blah, blah, blah. And we should have done a better job. Whatever. It always is like, oh, there's traffic. There's this, there's that. It's the same excuses every time. So find yourself an Elizabeth and share the seats, get the seats saved. And I don't believe in any way, shape, or form that this should be like a formal, like, I don't think you should do a special room or anything like that. The kind of the best part about Drinksmas or DrinksGiving is that you're part of the main crowd, but you got to get there early so that you can, because you're going to be there for a while. And what happens is think of it like an open house. Like if you're about to sell your house, right? And you go, oh, I'm having a twilight open house from like 6 to 9 or 5 to 9, 5 to 8, whatever. And people just kind of wander in. So there's no set time. People come in, they hang out, they can leave. But here's the thing. They can definitely bring a friend. So this is a perfect time to bring a plus one. This is a perfect time. So like usually for us, it was like all girls, right? The girls would kind of hang out and then the guys would sort of show up later. Well, now it's like, it's couples, it's whatever. But what I really think is a great opportunity is that you turn this into a situation where you can introduce your single friends to other single friends without it being awkward, right? Because it's kind of like, oh, hey, I'm doing this thing my friends call like DrinksGiving, like, oh, you should just come with us. Nobody actually thinks they're getting set up, right? And they're not. But you're all hanging out at the bar. Everybody's in a good mood. Nobody shows up at DrinksGiving in like sweat. So, you have your sparkle time on. The pheromones are running. And you kind of just see who hits it off. Okay. So that's really good for people who have very busy schedules that they haven't been able to get together. And then they kind of focus on this. Okay. So invite whoever, as long as they are fun and as long as they are free spirited. Tell your core group who's kind of hosting it, kind of the underpinnings, the scaffolding of all this, to get there early to save seats. Then you always have your same core group. You always want to let everybody know that you're having DrinksGiving. A solid, it doesn't hurt to send out the group text like even 3 weeks before and be like, hey, getting into the season. So excited. Don't forget, mark your calendar for DrinksGiving Wednesday, 5 o'clock at the Royal Chop House. Okay. But then the important thing is you have to do a follow-up. And that's where you follow up with everybody and are like, hey, you guys, kind of like the week before. Don't forget. Here's the deal, because I guarantee you there's going to be that person. You could have emailed them 5 times. They could have come 5 years in a row. And every time, and I had one of these friends last week, hey, is DrinksGiving on? And I was like, yes, it's on every year for the last like 12 years. Well, when is it? Well, it's Wednesday, same Wednesday as it always has been. So you're going to get that. So just be prepared, right? I like to do a little mock-up kind of text, like image where, and you can do them on any of these apps. And then it's like, has the who, what, when, where. So it's sort of like has my face and it's like, oh, come to DrinksGiving. And then it says the date and the time. And then that way I can just send it around easily to people. And it looks kind of cute and fun. So you can do that, or you can just retype the same text to everybody or send the group text. Now, the other rules about DrinksGiving that make it so great is that you just are responsible for yourself, right? So it's a pretty low budget night. I mean, the Chop House is not an inexpensive place, but if you monitor yourself, and there was this one gentleman, I should really not going to use his name, although I would like to, and a bunch of people know. He was notorious for going to this event and ordering, if you can believe it, a short, neat water. I swear on my life, a short, neat water. So this was amazing because who in God's green land would have the guts to order a short, neat water? A neat obviously means with no ice. And then B, other people heard him say that. I don't think that was the intention, and then C, like the goal was that so people would think he's drinking straight vodka and therefore could drink the short, neat water slowly. Okay. I don't recommend that. I don't recommend having friends like that. I will tell you, for many years, this gentleman did come to these events, and I kind of did encourage it because of things like this, like a short, neat water, but it's not good for your karma because you're just kind of end up bagging on this person. But anyway, yeah, so weird stuff happens, but the idea is that you're kind of responsible for yourself. Or you can, start a tab and have your friends kind of contribute. But the whole thing is it's not a big spending night. The nice thing is you can pop in for an hour, or you can stay for 2 hours, right? And like a lot of times we'll eat at the bar, or we'll splinter off because somebody's got to go to another, actually get ready for Thanksgiving or check the turkey or something. But it is the best time to kick off the holiday season, kind of get dressed for the first time in your holiday stuff if you want. And by the way, some people are in jeans and some people are totally tricked out. A lot of times I use it, I don't know, I feel like maybe it's like a photo shoot or something. It's definitely a great revenge day. Just heads up, in case you have broken up with somebody, you have been taking Ozempic, you are in a situation where like you want to take some photos, make sure somebody sees it and that you look great. Drinksgiving is the night for that. Okay. And then, as I say, everybody goes their merry way. And by the way, they've had the best time. And then it's so much easier to digest Thanksgiving because you really don't freaking care, right? You've had the best time of your life with all your friends. And I can't emphasize enough, have your core group that you always invite. Then, like, how sometimes you make some friends along through the year, you invite them, and then make sure you tell them they can bring a plus one, like a girl, and then potentially use the idea for dating. Now, there's another situation with Drinksgiving where I like to pretend I haven't invited people that I know are just going to stir up the shoot. And that drives certain people in my group crazy, but I don't care because I think they are really, really fun and they make my Drinksgiving even better. So I will let you guys decide. Do you stick to your core group and then say, hey, plus bring somebody, or do you really try to mix it up and, do shots and have just a lot of merrymaking? Okay. Now let's move on to the second made up holiday, Drinksmas. Drinksmas is basically the same thing as Drinksgiving, except it is the day before Christmas Eve. Because again, a lot of cultures, a lot of my friends, whatever, like they might have to do something Christmas Eve. Well, I mean, most people have to do something Christmas Eve, like if you're a Christian. But Christmas Day, or like if you have kids, you got to do the packages, the whole thing. At some point, Christmas Eve and Christmas night, like pretty much everybody is out of commission. However, the 23rd, again, it's like Drinksgiving. Nobody has anything going on. First of all the guys, the guys probably haven't even started shopping yet, number one. Number two, they're looking for any excuse to not shop. Number three, if they have been shopping, they're thinking, I'll go shopping for a little bit, or I'll stop in for Drinksmas, and then I'll go shopping and I'll be like even in better humor. So same kind of thing again. Now, Drinksmas, the beauty of this is that everything's all going to be decorated for the holidays. Again, fabulous for the revenge photos. These are absolutely days when, you want to have your full face app going. You want to have the chiseled cheeks. You make sure, you're with the girls, you're looking good. And hopefully a bunch of those girls are friends with at least friends of your ex. Okay. Because the fact that you're out having a good night on a bonus night before anybody else, that's just like a home run. Okay. But Drinksmas, the other benefits are, you think I've been drinking literally since I can't say Drinksmas versus DrinksGiving differently. Okay. Drinksmas, since it's the 23rd, same thing with us. We always end up at the chop house, and Drinksmas ends up going really late. I mean, I have had quite the situation at many Drinksmases. This started with a guy I used to date a million years ago, and he was totally wrapped up like with proper parental and familial obligations for the 24th and 25th. But we just happened to be out net. We were like having dinner at a table, and then on the 23rd, and then some other clowns rolled in, and then it was like we were playing Christmas carols and all singing to Christmas carols, and then like the nice people in the restaurant sort of started to clear out, but we didn't. And then it was Billy Joel, like Piano Man, and then by then people who weren't even part of our first made up Drinksmas then started rolling in, and that was a late night. Then we ended with Japanese whiskey, which we often do. If we get to the Japanese whiskey, let me tell you, it is, well, A, it's not a great day the next day, but B, and you also know it's not a great day also because your American Express card, but the next day too is it is a bad idea because that's very expensive at the end of the night and you are not paying attention, but it is a wonderful tradition. So same thing, get there early, 5 o'clock-ish, have your core people, find your Elizabeth, save the seats, create, block off the zone, sit every other chair, put the purse, the whole thing until you got your peeps there. And then what you will also, you'll find out is that on both of these nights, you will make a lot of new friends. Okay. Because I highly encourage you to have some kind of cocktail. And then, assuming you do that anyway, I'm not trying to like get you to start drinking, but then people are like, oh my gosh, what is this? Like, is it a party or you guys? And that's the best part. It's not like you have to pay a room charge. It's not like you have to pay. You're just bringing all these people to the bar. Now, in this case, the Chop House knows that we do Drinksmas and DrinksGiving every year. So they are kind of staffed for it. But if you're doing it like new, you might want to tell those places unless they're just going to be staffed for the holidays. And then same rules apply, right? You invite all the fun people. Plus, I love these days because do you guys ever feel guilty that you get invited to stuff? And I swear it's like you're trying to get there, right? But you just haven't been able to hook up with the person. You haven't been able to have dinner, or they cancel, or you cancel. Life just gets involved. Well, this is a great night to kind of clear out those invitations for the year so that you feel like you've kind of like tried your best to get together, even if they can't. But it's a very fun night. And again, don't forget about the single people. They also get very depressed during this time of year. Heck, a lot of times I get depressed during this time of year. So this is a good time. Think of your single friends. Even if you're like, I don't even know who would be there that I'd introduce them to, it is irrelevant because remember, there are going to be other people at the bar. It's an open thing. Then what typically happens is then the bartender, they're just glad you brought this giant group of people. It really helps if there's like live music or some kind of music that you can control, especially later in the night. And then you can have amazing Christmas carols, and kind of no matter what you end up doing on the 24th or the 25th, you just have this high of the 23rd. So that's Drinksmas. Now what I'd like to do is talk about a couple extra random holidays that I think everybody should take advantage of, because a lot of times when I do like TV interviews for, I don't know, how to cut a budget for weddings or how to cut a budget for, whatever, if you're creating a holiday party. So let's talk about that. One of the things that I always say, since we're talking about holidays, we'll jump from here, is you do it on an off day or an off time. Okay. So we all know the whole world is going to have a party on a Saturday in December because those are, quote, the most popular days to have it. Well, guess what? That's great to snag a Saturday in December. But first of all, everybody's going to have multiple issues, like multiple invites for that day. Okay. Places are going to be packed, restaurants are going to be packed, et cetera, et cetera. So I think during the holidays, Friday night is still a great night to have your holiday party, but that's still in the weekend kind of zone. So it's still really expensive. Love Thursdays, actually. And it can be like a Thursday 5 to 7 thing where you can just have like, beer and wine and some hors d'oeuvres. Everybody comes over, hangs out a little bit, and then you guys all leave and go to dinner. So it doesn't have to be some big commitment thing, right? But I do love Thursday nights because during the holidays, it seems like everybody's kind of lax already. So it's not like, oh my gosh, I have to work on Friday. I mean, even if they do, they seem to be willing to go to work and be buzzed. Now, I also love a Saturday brunch or a Sunday brunch. I would call it a Sunday hangover brunch, but I think those are two great days because a lot of times during the day, during the holidays, you're like, you got shopping but it's not so much like you've got the kids' soccer games and like all this other stuff. So to me, a Sunday brunch and you keep it simple and you do like a build your own Bloody Mary bar that will knock people's socks off and look great on social media. And you can have, God bless it. I forget, where was the place I went? I had that one year in Tiburon, this amazing place. It was a gorgeous Sunday in Tiburon. And it was a build your own Bloody Mary bar. But it was so cool because they had all the different kinds of vodkas, right? And then they had all the different kinds of like tomato juice and spicy. And then you could add your own horseradish. And then they had all these crazy things. Like they had like, green beans you could put in celery, you could put in horseradish, like all different kinds of olives. And you literally could build it. But listen, you're building it with basically vegetables and like some vodka. You can only have so many Bloody Marys. But like bacon, like there was just cool things. So these days you can just Google how to throw a Bloody Mary bar. And I'm telling you, you'll have a great time. And I love this idea. I love brunch in general because you can get people kind of in and out like 11 to 1. It's great even for baby showers and stuff too. Now, another fun day to do this is on Super Bowl Sunday, because guess what? Everybody is having the party on Super Bowl Sunday during like Super Bowl time. You want to know the most successful Super Bowl party I ever had? It was like people were going to the Super Bowl party and then people were having the Super Bowl pre-parties, right? So it's still like a few hours ahead of time. I was like, forget that noise. I didn't have anything to do really early. So I just said, hey, because a lot of people are really big on, they just kind of like go all out. Like they're planning this day is going to be a boondoggle. So I had like a pre Super Bowl party and it was like at 9 a.m. I did my build your own Bloody Mary bar. And then the cool thing is you can get some food in them. So this is almost like a do nice for your friends day kind of public service announcement, because you can get them fed before they go off into the sunset for these crazy Super Bowl parties and really drink. So you can give them, like have them have a Bloody Mary bar or something, or of course they don't have to drink it if they don't want to. But this is a great time to like give them quiche, or like I love me an amazing casserole, or like, built up. Like we had this thing growing up called the Dorito dish that was just magic. I probably ate it only like 3 times in my youth, and it was usually when there was nothing else in the refrigerator. But it was like, Doritos or chips and like ground beef and tomato sauce and cheese and everything. I mean, it was just freaking heaven. But that's a great, easy day to entertain. And I'm telling you, everyone will come because no one hosts a pre Super Bowl party. And then the great thing is they're in and they're out and you can just chill out. Sometimes I like these holidays, even like Super Bowl, like even Thanksgiving, when you just get them done early and then you can just hang out in your pajamas and watch Netflix or like fun Christmas Hallmark movies if you want the whole rest of the time. And these days I keep seeing all these things about people's mental health and all that other stuff and how it's suffering. And I don't know. I think it's crucial to get together and get people like physically together. So you might have to stalk some of your friends who are a little bit depressed, but get those friends together and just have fun, see each other in person, remind each other it's all going to be okay. even if they've had the lousiest year. And then here's the other thing I do sometimes at the end of the year. Like, okay, we talked about New Year's Eve. And that's like, I know, everybody's going to say that's a party. It's a night for amateurs, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I get it. But I mean, sometimes it's like if you are going to a fun New Year's Eve party, it is fun. I don't think you have to go out necessarily for New Year's Eve dinner. But I'm telling you, another great day. My mom always told me this. She's like, everybody always has plans New Year's Eve, which is true because it's like you feel so forced and compelled. Very few people have plans New Year's Day. Like here we live in Pasadena, so people go to the Rose Bowl, blah, blah, blah. But the best day is where you do a New Year's Day party. Again, open house. You can have kind of a long window and people can just, it doesn't really even matter if they RSVP, right? I mean, you want them to RSVP, but they can bring people if they've been on the parade route here. They can bring a couple extra people. It doesn't matter. And everybody can just, same kind of thing. You have easy cocktails or like a mimosa bar, something like that. And a little hair of the dog never hurt anybody, right? And what I find is that people are just relaxed. This is a great time, by the way, to have a food truck if you can on one of these random days. But like New Year's Day, we've had like the Pine Burger truck or something would be amazing, or the In-N-Out truck if you've got a bunch of people. And it's great because everybody's been drinking or they're tired, or let's just say you're tired from the year. Or let's say you don't even want to have like the In-N-Out truck. You just want to have like a bunch of girlfriends and you're like, oh my God, come over, whenever at some point, everybody can sneak out for a minute. And you sneak out and you write down all the like bad stuff you wanted to burn that happened in the last year. And you do it like a burning ceremony. I've done that. That's great even between Christmas and New Year's. And then New Year's Day, if you haven't done your burning before, you can do it then, or you write down all your intentions for the year. Okay. That's magic. I love that. I love that. I love that. And sometimes we have this one friend, Adriana, God bless her. I mean, we did one of these little ceremonies, cleaning and clearing ceremonies. And I'm telling you, she was like at that fireplace writing and burning. And we just kept going like, is she okay? But she was right. I mean, she was just having a very cleansing, great experience. So highly recommend that. If you don't want to have some big thing, pick somebody's apartment, house, whatever, 5 girls, hang out and just bitch and moan about then this happened and write it all down and then be like, goodbye, burn it, call it a day. And if you want, you could even take it a step further and actually like do your vision board stuff about, what you want to manifest, or have your stack of magazines. I'm still a big one for paper magazines and tearing things out and visualizing things because I think the images are so amazing. And sometimes when I just need to get out of a funk, that's what I do. So that's what I recommend. So that's another random day. Now, I wasn't going to get this far into the year, but we might as well then talk about like Galentine's Day instead of Valentine's Day. And I think, I didn't know this, but I think there's officially like a Galentine's Day is like the day before Valentine's Day or the day after or something. I didn't realize. I thought Galentine's Day was a day when you just got together with your friends, your girlfriends, like if instead of dates on Valentine's Day. But anyway, I want to encourage, since we're now kind of covering like the 4 or 5 month span of random holidays, is don't forget about Galentine's Day. In fact, you can start planning it at your DrinksGiving or Drinksmas. And same thing, invite your fun friends, invite your random friends. There's no formality. Pick a place. Galentine's Day, you can just have a real hoot. That can turn into the pajama party, etc. Not that everybody has to spend the night, but there is something really nice I will tell you about just going to a quote party where it's, it's just going to be chicks and you can have your face scrubbed and your pajamas on. Just kind of like, when you were a young mom and you put the kids in the pajamas and, at the end of the night, they'd just go night night and they're already cleaned up. So you could do that. You can have everybody have like back massages or like hand massages or polish changes or something and then call it a day. But in general, the idea is pick a day other than the day everybody's focused on. Okay. Have it be the day before, the day after, earlier in the day, later, whatever. always pick fun people that you want to invite. Send the group text. I think it's much easier to have like a little image with all the info on it, so you can text that around. I get tired of typing. And encourage your friends to bring a +1. I think it's a great potential for like people just meeting or hanging out. Also, what's now happened that some of our kids are getting older is that DrinksGiving, now that the kids will be home from college and stuff, they're starting to participate in DrinksGiving. So that's always super fun. But then, yeah, have your own Drinksmas a couple days before, or even it could be like, the 26th, or even just a random Sunday brunch. Forget about entertaining on New Year's Eve. Go for the entertainment on New Year's Day and have it be an open house. And then hello for Valentine's Day. But if you're in the full relationship, you can be in a relationship with a gal and you can still do Valentine's Day with just like your other gals. You got it? So I hope you loved these party tips and tricks thrown together by yours truly. And if you are somebody who actually wants to take it to the next level and like do something extra nice, like this year, because of the government shutdown and the SNAP benefits and all that crazy stuff, there are a lot of food banks and stuff that are suffering. And so what you can do is you could get all your gals together or your Drinksmas people and just have them bring like a toy, for if it's Drinksmas, for like, the toys for tots type of thing, or have them bring a couple cans of food. For some reason, right around this time, like this week, I always want to just be like cleaning and organizing. It helps that Mercury is in retrograde because it seems like the perfect time for that. And I'm not saying, I will, full disclosure, tell you that as I was cleaning my cabinet yesterday, I was like, oh, I could do something like, I don't need all blah, 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 blah. And then I was realized, okay, they're expired like that. So you don't want to be giving expired stuff to the donation situation. That's really just a really bad idea. I probably shouldn't have ended on that. But I do want to just say that you can take these off holidays, get your friends together, have a ton of fun, extend those invitations, like so you can kind of catch up and clear out the year, or use it as a cleaning and clearing for the year with a nice intention for the new year. And then maybe like collect some stuff for the homeless or for kids so you'll feel a lot better. And that's the deal. So for other party planning tips and tricks, you know where to find me on Instagram at The Party Goddess. And of course, please, if you have not already, subscribe to the show. Please comment. Please like the show. Please tell a friend about it, because that's what's going to get the last child off to college next year. Okay? So, all right. I hope you guys, whenever you're listening to this, I hope you have a great holiday season. Great Kwanzaa. Happy Hanukkah. Happy all of them. And got any party questions? Find us on Instagram. Or leave a comment. Okay. Until next week. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.